So, 10 drivers in Rotax 177, led by the Dan Holland Racing driver Ben Davis, Chris Thomas P2, Matthew Easton and Oliver Appleby on row 2, Henry Ayres and Colin Davis on row number 3. Row 4 is Charlie Whaley and James Ockenden. Row 5, Lewis Large and Ben Cowley. 10 karts, 15 minutes. This is the Rotax 177 Grand Final. Here we go into the final corner. Can Ben Davis make it 2 final wins out of 2 for the Dan Holland Racing team? He makes a good start and takes the lead into turn number 1. All 10 drivers through cleanly, and it's good to see all 10 drivers out there, because there was a couple of incidents in the pre-final that saw Lewis Large take a bit of damage, James Ockenden also taking a bit of damage, but although both those karts have been repaired and we are off and racing. And race number 24, Rotax 177 final. And oh, there's Charlie Whaley, you can see with the white race suit there, trying to defend his position from James Ockenden. And welcome back, Anthony. Good job, good job. I was saying that, you know, there are people that have said that you sound a bit like Anthony Davidson on commentary, but with the sunglasses and there was a striking resemblance.
Was there?
There was. Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah, I mean, the mask and the sunglasses would come 3/4 of your head out. But no, good job, and Harry Linden there. So haven't missed much. I'll bring you up to quick speed. Like a recap at the start of this week's episode.
Yes.
Ben Davis has made a good start.
Okay.
And Chris Thomas from the outside of the front row has gone with him. Oliver Appleby's just making a move there, but I don't care for that because he's received. Yes. And he's up in the second. He's up in second place now. But all 10 drivers, including those what crashed in the pre-final, are out there to start this 15-minute race.
Yeah, no, excellent. And
now we need to cue the theme music. You've had the recap of last week's episode. Now we have the theme music, the cast and the crew, and now it's back to live action.
Excellent.
There we go.
Back to live action, and 13.5 minutes left on the timer. Leading the way by 0.3 of a second, nearly 4, is Ben Davis at the moment. He's got Oliver Appleby and Chris Thomas, the main culprits of the 177 class for senior Rotax as they go through, and there's a good bit of camera, a good bit of engine sound you heard.
Yes, I know that the wind has been playing havoc with some of the microphones.
Yeah.
The engine noise being blown away from the cameras at the moment, and there is the number 34 kart chased by the number 56. So Appleby, who is a British Championship rookie, is doing a great job of keeping Chris Thomas, who has won this championship before and has represented Team Great Britain in the Rotax Grand Finals, and Ben Davis, who's been racing an awful long time. I think this is possibly his 6th or 7th season karting.
Now, the mysterious voice in our head has said there is...
I get that all the time.
I know. A couple of spots of rain out there. Nothing dramatic, nothing to worry about.
Michael Fish said that on the BBC before there was a hurricane back in 1987. But
nothing to worry about here. Everything will be fine.
To remember that, yes.
And then carnage.
Yes. Well, I mean, even if there are a few spots of rain, the tyres are now fully up to temperature.
Yes.
But the thing is, with only 10 karts, and this is the thing, when there are 34 karts in the race, then there are karts spread out over the circuit. So there's hot tyres going over like the rubber of the tarmac on the track all the time. You know, with only 10 karts, they're all pretty much neck and neck. You know, there's 30 seconds where turn 3 has got, you know, no tyres going over it. So any moisture that does find its way onto said race circuit, and now so Ben Davis is the guinea pig here. If there is rain, I mean, at the moment the lap times, I mean, last time around Henry is. Oh, that's good. That's
3 wide here, as that was the 95 going straight from 4th to 2nd there as they go through.
Matthew Easton, take a bow, sir.
Yes, that was an excellent masterclass piece of driving there. It looked like he was going to just sit behind, and then he thought, actually, no, there's a gap, and went for it, and it was beautifully calculated. 11 minutes left on the clock, and moves up into 2nd place. Can he hold that 2nd place for the 11 minutes is yet to be seen.
Yes, but I say, so Ben Davis, he sort of rescinded the lead to Oliver Appleby. There's a look at, so there's some blueness there, but there's some greyness as well.
Yeah.
But look at the way that the wind is blowing the grey towards us, and Ben Davis has now dropped back to, was that 4th position? I was looking at lap times at the moment. Wow, here we go, 38.52 second. Henry Ayres has got the fast lap of the race at the moment. Ayres in kart number 29 for KR Sport is right there in 5th position. Last time around, let's have a look. Well, Matthew Easton does a personal best lap of 37.54, so obviously whatever moisture there is in the air at the moment, it's not affecting grip levels. But Ben Davis lost an awful lot of pace quite quickly there. I mean, he's back to 4th position. Appleby currently leads by a whisker over Easton. Then a half-second gap back to Chris Thomas in 3rd. No, it's Ben Davis and Chris Thomas side by side for 3rd. Thomas on the inside.
Oh, a little bit of contact.
A little bit of door handling there. And you know, so Thomas is there, but then it's Henry Ayres in the number 29 Kart in 5th. And then Lewis Large in 6th with Colin Davis 7th. And Charlie Whaley in 8th. So really, the top 8 still pretty much nose to tail with 10 minutes to go. Ben Cowley is 9th and James Ockenden runs in 10th place. Now, Colin Davis and James Ockenden, there is a Masters class for drivers that are over a certain age limit. I'm not quite sure what that is. I think it may be 35. I will defer to somebody who wants to tell me any differently if there's a knock on the door. You know, but I think that's what the Masters class is, over 35. I would just qualify by half.
Is that a lie?
No,
It's true. Okay, fine.
You know, if you see me walk around the paddock, I look 50. My mental age is 15, but I'm somewhere in the middle in actuality.
There you go.
Yeah, but up the lead, it's Oliver Appleby. Now, Appleby led quite convincingly through the heats and had a good battle with Ben Davis. Ben Davis got the better of him in the pre-final. And there's nothing like this. So Ben Davis just seen his teammates win the previous race. There's nothing like watching your teammate win to give you as a driver a bit of a confidence booster. But he's got the confidence. He's got the Coles Racing number 95 of Matthew Easton, who's on a red speed chassis. So normally Coles Racing you see the green Tony Kart chassis, but you can see between the bodywork there, that's a red speed chassis. It's still part of the OTK family, so so they're all built in the same factory.
Yes.
They just have different rooms they get painted in.
Ah, I see.
Yes.
Wow.
And some will say there are very subtle differences. Some will say no, it's a different colour. There we go. So it's the red speed chassis, and Easton is showing a fair turn of speed in it as you come into the final corner. You see tyres squealing. You know, a bit of oversteer there for Oliver Appleby as he turned in, and again a bit of an oversteer again. And we saw that against Ben Davis in one of the earlier heats, where, you know, coming out of turn 4, the back end of that number 34 car seems a bit loose. I mean, I know they say that loose is fast, but with 7 and 3/4 minutes to go, if the rear end has already lost grip, you're going to be struggling. And you can see you have to take 2 bites out of the steering wheel to get turned in there, and he certainly is starting to back the pack up.
So again, the man in my head is telling me that the spitting of rain has intensified out on the circuit, according to our cameramen, who of course bear the brunt of the weather at every event that we go to, and we thank them for their help here in the 95 of Easton down the inside of turn 2, gets Appleby and takes the lead of this final, and already as well as is that Davis trying to fight back, and there's contact between the two of them, and Appleby said no, you are not taking that position as well.
They're getting that now. Is that because things are getting a little slippery? You can see on the screen there,
yeah,
the droplets of water. Someone asking Roman Nicolai on who won the Minimax final. Well, Roman, why weren't you tuned in? That's number 1, that's bad. Number 2, please know that Landau International's own Harry Linden has won the Minimax final provisionally, subject of course to post-race Paul Klassen. Post-race scrutineering. They're coming through the second chicane there, and let's have a look. Lap times. Well, the leader, Matthew Easton's best lap was a 37.54. His last time around was a 37.8. So yeah, the pace has dropped off a little bit. I mean, this is great stuff. I mean, the top 7 drivers are all together. Charlie Whaley has slipped back in 8th a little bit, but not by far, only by 1.5 seconds. There's Whaley coming onto the screen now. A very distinctive Mike Spencer's Motorsport driver. And here is another move. That's Ben Davis now fighting back. And that was Lewis Large, I think, losing a position. So the front pack comprises Matthew Easton, Oliver Appleby, Ben Davis, Lewis Large, Chris Thomas, Henry Ayres and Colin Davis. Yeah,
it was a very opportunistic move there from Davis to get back from Lewis Large. You saw Large take the position earlier on in that lap, and again, same lap, just a couple of corners later down the road, Davis retakes that spot. So 5.5 minutes left on the clock. Everything's still all to play for here as the wind intensifies, and so do the spots of rain.
Yes, now more questions coming. Who won the junior Rotax final? We haven't had it yet.
Yeah, there you go.
You got to stay tuned and find out. This is the second of the finals. We have still got Honda Cadet, junior Rotax and senior Rotax to come. This is the Minimax was the sort of the starter, and we haven't reached the main course yet. So this is sort of like, you know, the glass of wine you have between the starter and while they're cooking the main course. Absolutely, it's a very tasty glass of wine. If it is one, because the racing will be very good. The top four are starting to break away though. Easton, Appleby, Davis and Large. Lewis Large, that scary looking incident at in the pre-final, obviously suffering no ill effects at the moment, or at all.
No, still driving well, holding on to that fourth place and trying to go down the inside for third. Gets it done, nicely done there. And it looks like, is he a bit warm in that race suit?
Yeah, and he's yes, that could be a problem. There is a black t-shirt on that. Well, that's just you know, that's maybe the zipper is broken, but it's sort of acting like a bit of a balloon effect, isn't it?
It is indeed. I suppose that's not the most aerodynamic way of wearing a race suit. Looks more like he's wearing a leather jacket.
So we'll see what happens there. He's sort of, but it's not slowing him down. Put it that way. He's gone large, shall we say? Oh dear.
Oh dear.
The rain, nothing has really
untoward
happened. It hasn't developed. Oh, there's a move. Henry Ayres going up the inside of Chris Thomas. So Chris Thomas, the number 56 kart, slips back to 7th position, the tail end of this lead group, and Charlie Whaley is still manfully trying to cling on to the lead pack as Ben Davis now takes the lead. But Matthew Easton, he hasn't led a race all weekend, and suddenly pops up when it matters most in the final.
Yeah, there it is, and that is, like you say, it's where it matters, and where it matters is that he is leading, and comfortably as well. Nearly a second gap he's got to Oliver Appleby at the moment, and of course these drivers still running the same tyres from this morning, so of course over the races that we've had today they've just worn down. It depends. That's maybe why he's just stayed at the back. It's only a small grid of karts. He's just, let's just stay at the back, let's just look after the tyres, don't overcook them, and then come the final, I'll have the grip. Bam, and there you go.
Excellent point. You're probably correct in this, you know, because these are the 177s. They have jobs in the real life, which means some of them have developed a brain.
Yes.
That's frightening for kart races.
Yeah, frightening thought.
But of course, so there's a tactical thing, and there goes Ben Davis at the inside of Oliver Appleby for second position. So now Davis has got to get his head down. He's got clear tracking for him. Here comes Lewis Larger on the outside. So the Coles Racing karts looking very, very strong.
They go through 2.5 minutes left on the clock then, and the gap between Easton and Appleby, which isn't Appleby anymore because he's dropped back a few more positions.
If Lewis Large makes that work, he deserves a medal, and it doesn't quite happen. He's now under pressure, but he thought about going around the outside the final corner to pick up a place, and you know, yes, he's looking over his shoulder. So Ben Davis, I mean, I have to say Matthew Easton, 1.5 seconds up the road, 2 minutes to go. You know, the threat of rain in the air. And that was Colin Davis. So he's leading the Masters class, is Colin Davis. The second driver of the Masters class, James Ockerton, is out there in 10th place. Ben Cowley is still 9th, Charlie Whaley is still 8th, and then you're looking at 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd and 1st in the same camera shot, which on lap 22 of the final is very good indeed.
It is indeed. 90 seconds left on the clock as we look here at the 86 of second place. It is Ben Davis. He's 1.5 seconds down from the race leader at the moment, Matthew Easton. It is only 0.2 of a second up from Oliver Appleby, but Appleby's struggling on the tyres that he's got at the moment, and that is playing havoc with it. And I think also, who's this that we're looking at, the 29, this is a little further down as well. This is Henry Ayres. Yes, Henry Ayres in 6th place at the moment. He's down 1 spot from his original starting point for the final. Less than a minute to go now.
Less than a minute to go. There's the man that's got all the work to do if he's the catch leader, although pretty much I think it's going to take a mistake for Matthew Easton to stop him from claiming victory here. Coles Racing, red speed chassis, in control, and I have to say, you know, I haven't got the grid in front of me, but I mean, Matthew Easton, he started third, so he was not out of contention, but he just was quiet. He didn't feature in the lead battles that much, to be fair, and like I said, when it matters most, he's come to the front. So Davis second, he's broken off Appleby's challenge. Appleby is now going to be looking behind him, because Lewis Large in kart number 13 could be the next one on his, it's going to be knocking at the door, so to speak. Colin Davis recovered really well from a dreadful day yesterday. He's recovered well to run in 5th position. Then it's Henry Ayres. Chris Thomas again has faded a little bit, so maybe the GMS team Karts just haven't quite got the pace over the longer race distances. We've seen both Appleby and Thomas struggle a little bit. Maybe it's tyres, maybe it's the way that the kart uses the tyres, and you know, certainly, you know, that is a grey sky, and there's not droplets of rain over the circuit. You're going to be going out to speak to our winner on the final lap, and it looks like it's going to be Matthew Easton. Like, you know, I don't want to say too much just yet. He looks over his shoulder. Ben Davis has got the gap down by a couple of tenths, but he's still over a second. But so far, they're good train for third. So the battle for the final podium spot. Lewis Large has caught Oliver Appleby. Colin Davis wants a piece of the action. So does Henry Ayres. But one corner to go, and it's going to be a win provisionally in 177 for Matthew Easton.
That's a great win from him. 1.2 seconds further up the road as the rest of the field crossed the line. Ben Davis, Oliver Appleby holds on to that last spot on the podium there, despite the difficulties which it looks like he's having with his tyres at the moment.
Yeah, so there's some of the other drivers. Chris Thomas coming across the line in 7th. Charlie Whaley is 8th. Ben Cowley comes home in 9th. And James Ockenden rounds out the top 10. So it's a win for Dan Holland Racing, now a win for Coles Racing. And Matthew Easton brings the number 95 kart back to the pack, where Anthony Jordan and extended microphone, so that we are, of course, adhering to all social distancing rules, will be waiting for him. And so Easton, Davis, Appleby, Large, then Colin Davis, no relation, at the top 5. Henry Ayres, Chris Thomas, Charlie Whaley, Ben Cowley, and James Ockenden on his British Championship debut. They make it to the end. Now, the skies have darkened. There's no rain, even though that looks like it's wet. No rain on the track, and oh, look at that. Lewis Large's race suit is magically, the zip has reattached itself, and it's back to how it was at the start of the race. There is the view of the paddock, or the Parc Fermé area. The 177 mechanics being weighted. So Matthew Easton's Coles Racing. Now that's Tom Holland in the middle of the screen with a black T-shirt on. That's Tom Holland, who is mechanicking. I can't remember who he's mechanic for. Now, he was a very, very skilled 177 driver back in his day, and sure if he's still mechanics. Yeah, so he mechanics for Ben Davis, getting a well done there for 2nd place. Always good to see Tom in the paddock. He's a good character. You know, he doesn't necessarily get caught up in the hysteria of the racing like some other mechanics do. He's a very calm voice of reason, and he's just guided his driver to 2nd place in the opening round of the British Championship. And you have to say well done to the 177 drivers for getting through that. That was a tough physical test, and I don't want to be the harbinger of weather-related, the harbinger of meteorological doom, but the skies are darkening, and the wind is bringing a small amount of precipitation towards the circuit, as we have 3 races to go. Before we get to that, there will be a chance to speak to a victorious Matthew Easton, and good to see 3 different teams, but I think we have Anthony Jordan with our Rotax 177 race winner.
Well, again, joining us down in the scrutineering bay where we're about to get run over by Karts probably again. Matthew Easton, a fantastic victory from that one. Over a second of a gap to the man in 2nd place. You must be thrilled with that one.
Yeah, absolutely buzzing. Struggled with pace all weekend, changed a few things on the kart for the last 2 races and found a lot of pace. Just needed to crack down on consistency, making a couple of mistakes in the pre-final, so had to nip them in the bud for the final, but overall really happy with the finish.
Earlier on today, it didn't look like it was on the cards for a win today in the final. It looked like we were thinking it must have been on tyres. It looked like you looked after your tyres throughout today and you had them for the final.
Yeah, I mean, tyres ended up really good compared to everybody else's. Looking at the grid before the final, we had quite good tyre. Coming in the round, we did know that we were going to struggle with tyre, just with big heavy lads, a load of races on them. But yeah, tyres felt really good.
Awesome. Well, before we get run over by a load of carts on trolleys, congratulations, well done on a win.
Thank you very much. Just like to say a big thanks to my dad for the spanners. Absolutely amazing job all weekend, all the way through my karting career. HRS engines, supplying really good engines all the time. Coles Racing for the help this weekend. And then just all my family back home, always supportive.
Awesome, well done. Congratulations on the win. Back to you, Henry.
Thank you once again, Anthony. 3 races to go, and the next race will be Cadet Honda, and that will be coming up in a few minutes' time. The top privateer in the race, he was also the top Masters driver. In 5th position was Colin Davis, and Colin has, well, I mean, if he's in the Masters class, that means he's getting on a bit, and he's probably have to go for a lie down after that race. So we'll move on to the top 3, finishing in 3rd position, and as the top rookie, it's Oliver Appleby. Well then, Oliver, good stuff. Now, this driver, he spent, I think, the last 6, 7 years racing as a senior, but I mean, he's obviously must have a gym in his basement at home or something. He's done a bit of bulking up, finishing as runner-up, it's Ben Davis. But your Rotax 177 winner, a great final. After a quiet set of heats, he came good when it mattered. It's Matthew Easton. So, speak to Matthew now. Well, the only lap that counts, they say, is the last lap. You led a bit more than the last lap, but was it a conscious decision to hang back in the heat, save the tyres, save yourself? Because it was very, very tricky indeed, wasn't it?
Yeah, hard race. To be honest, struggled all weekend, so it was more just knowing that the tyres were going to be terrible in the final. But to be honest, we just didn't have the outright pace in the heats. Found a bit of time for the finals, so just when it counted.
Yeah. Now, I mean, there was only 10 of you. Hopefully, there might be a couple more at the next round. But I mean, the heat wins between Oliver and Ben were spectacular indeed. You know, you've got a very, very tough job on your hands. You know, you might only have 9 rivals, but there's 9 very strong rivals, and whoever wins this championship, you know, will have really earned it. How are you feeling physically after the weekend?
Yeah, physically tiring. Certainly not an easy track when you're doing 15 minutes. Just watching the clock count down, it just felt like it was going forever. But yeah, looking forward to the rest of the championship. It's certainly going to be hard.
Well, thank you very much, Matthew. Thank you to Ben and Oliver as well. Some great racing. Ladies and gentlemen, your Rotax 177 podium.